welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. I'm so glad you're joining me here today. My name is Denise Alvarez. I get the opportunity to serve as your host here every week, and I am so grateful you're here for this conversation because we're going to talk all about your equestrian website. But before we do that, I want to give a quick introduction just in case we are new friends, and then we'll jump in, all right? Now, as I mentioned, my name is Denise Alvarez, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners to see clearly through the marketing overwhelm and to create a cohesive plan for your social media, your website, and your email marketing that will turn your online audience into your customers. I get to do that through Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program, as well as website design and website copywriting, and Social Stride, my monthly coaching program. I do all of those things, including this podcast, because I love to help you all, horse business owners who want to be out in the barn, out in the arena, doing what it is that you love to do, right? And so here on the podcast especially, you will find a mix of step-by-step strategies, basic how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you not only see what's possible for your horse business, but guide you through that process to make it happen. So that's why today on the podcast, we are talking all about your equestrian website. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of things because I want to help you not only have a website that's beautiful, right? We all know that visual matters, but to get past the visual to get people to really take action, right? Because when it comes to your website, you want regular inquiries from the right people. You want inquiries, first of all, right? You may be saying, Denise, I'm getting some traffic, but nobody's actually reaching out to talk to me. And we're going to talk about what you can do about that and some of the warning signs that are going to help you know you're not getting the right people there in the first place. Or perhaps you are getting leads, you're getting people reaching out, but then they're kind of wasting your time. They're not the right people for you. They're not the right people for your business. They're really just tire kickers who want to ask a whole bunch of questions and never really move themselves to action, right? So if that's you, if you're like, Denise, I have a website, I'm just really struggling to get the right people in the door, then today's episode is for you because we're going to have 5 warning signs that your website is the culprit. Now, this episode is actually a recording of a live training I did previously on my Facebook page. And so if we are friends there, you may have seen that. If not, definitely connect with me on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, where I am continually putting out new education for you in your marketing as well. All right. Now, again, what I'm about to dive into are the things that if I was looking at your website and you were saying, Denise, what do you think is working well? What do you think is not working well? These are some of the things that I would be looking at, okay? And I framed them today as warning signs that your website is not helping you to attract the right customers. Now, on top of that, before we jump into the training, I do have a freebie for you. I have a free dream website guide that I have created, and it's going to give you the 4 must-haves that you need to really turn your website visitors into your customers. So if you have not gotten that yet, you can head over to stormlily.com/checklist to get your free dream website guide. And of course, I will have that link as well as the highlights of today's episode on the show notes at stormlily.com/110 for episode 110. All right. So head there for the highlights of the episode as well as your link to my free website guide. Okay. All right. Now get ready. I hope you have your notepad handy because I've got some very practical takeaways for you and things that you can do on your website today that will start to make a difference. So like I said, you're here because we're talking about websites. Now, it may be that you don't have a website yet, but it's on the horizon. I know that I talked with somebody yesterday who was on the live training and said that they realized that, yes, the website needs to be a priority this year for their business. So maybe you don't have one and you're here because you want to have one and you want to do it well. But it's also more likely that you're here because you have a website that is not quite working to get you the right people. You're getting inquiries perhaps on your website from people to work with you, to bring the horse into training, to join you for lessons, but they don't seem to be the right people. And so you want to figure out what that is. Or perhaps you're not getting any leads. People are landing on your website, but they're not actually taking action, right? So why is that the case? Why do you get people landing there, but they're not really taking action? Very often it's because you're not getting the right people to your website. And when they get there, they realize that you're not for them, or they're confused, which we will talk about, right? So your website's goal really is to take those customers on a journey. And we talked some about that yesterday. And so part of that, absolutely, in turning your visitors into your customers, is having a website that's very clear and also takes them on a very clear journey, invites them to get on your email list if they're not ready to buy yet, invites them to book an inquiry call, book a discovery call, maybe come out and check out your lesson program, right? You're giving them calls to action. We'll talk about all of those things. But the point is, you are here because you're not getting that happening right now, right? You're not getting people in the right people to take action. So what would the other side look like? What would it look like if your website was getting the right people there? You would have new leads coming in through your website, right? You'd have new potential customers and contacts that are reaching out. Not only that, they would be the right people. Because remember, we're not looking for the tire kickers to just get on your phone and waste your time and then tell you that you're too expensive for them, or that they're really not planning to do anything right now. They're just gathering information. And yes, that can be valid, but a lot of times those aren't your right people. Your right people are the ones that want to get on the phone with you because they're actually interested in working with you. They're actually interested in bringing their horse into you for training. They're actually interested in showing because they understand that that's a big part of what you do, and coaching people at shows is a big part of that. And they're ready, right? You want them to get on the phone and already know if you're the right person for them. So we want to get rid of that idea of somebody reaching out and spending time asking you all kinds of questions, and then you spending that time answering them, and then they don't buy, right? And you're like, why can't I get the right people to come in? Okay. So that's why I want to talk to you about some of the warning signs, the things that I see when I am working with clients and we're looking at their website. Maybe we're doing an audit together. Maybe they just want to strategize what should go on a certain page. And then I look at their website and I want to share with you guys 5 signs that show me why their website is not attracting the right people, right? And when I talk about attracting, what I mean is attracting them to take that next step, right? So today we're not talking about how to get traffic necessarily to your website in terms of using social and different promotional mechanisms. What I want to talk to you about today is when they get there, are they attracted to you? Are you attracting the right people to take action? Are you attracting the right people to fill out your inquiry form, to follow you on social, and then also visit your website and then become customers, right? Okay, so I'm going to share with you 5 things. So if you're a notes person, get your notes ready. You know that I'm all about giving you actionable, practical information that you can take and apply today. And so that's what I have for you. All right. So the first warning sign, when I get onto a website, the first warning sign that I see all the time, and it's our natural inclination, is the copy. And specifically, it's me-centered versus you-centered. Okay. Me being the business owner versus you being the customer. All right. So it's owner-centered versus customer-centered. Now the copy, friends, in case you're like, Denise, I don't throw marketing jargon out there for you. The copy is the word, it's just the words on your website. Okay. So when they first land on there, that first line that they see, that's the copy. All the paragraphs below, that's the copy. Okay. And it all matters, because here's the thing. Your customers, because we all are, your buyers are me-centered. They're thinking about themselves when they land on that site. And not because they're selfish, because that's their filter for their buying decisions, right? Does this meet my needs? Does this help fulfill my dreams? Does this help my horse? Does this help my child, right? They want to know what it is you're going to do for them. So when you look at your website, is it me-centered or is it you-centered? And can I give you a tip, a very quick takeaway? One of the things that you can do is literally use the word you. Train yourself to speak directly to your audience. Because for the large majority of my audience here, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or podcast friends, you guys are the brand, right? When you write your website copy, you're going to write it from your perspective. So you don't need to write third person in the whole time. You need to write it from your perspective and use the word you, okay? So I want you to practice. Go look at your homepage even and see if you are talking directly to the people that you want to help, or if you're speaking very generically. We help writers that want to XYZ, right? Instead of we help you. I help you do these things, okay? So see how many times, and you don't overuse it, but I guarantee you're probably underusing it. Because what I want you to remember is that your website is created for connection. It is not created as just another promotional piece to tell the world all about you and your accomplishments and what you've done and all of those things, right? Which there's a place for those. They build credibility. I do want you to build that in. But your website is a place for your potential customers to feel connected to you, to feel understood by you. And that starts with your copy, all right? So first warning sign is when your website copy is owner-centered and not customer-centered. All right, the second warning sign is that the images and videos on your website are not representing your specialty or the level of experience that you provide. Okay, we all know that pictures are worth 1,000 words. So I do want you to be using pictures, use videos on your website to show what you do for your potential customers, right? What's possible when they work with you. And you want them to say, yes, that's me. That's what I want. That's my dream, right? But here's the thing. I have also been on websites where the quality of images are poor enough that it doesn't invite people to continue going, or it does not share the quality of experience that people are going to have, and thus the price that's associated with that, right? That often is very related. And so if you have images on your website that somebody took on their phone 15 years ago at a show, and it's really blurry and the coloring is really bad, I would encourage you to revisit those pictures, okay? And if you need to, you can include older pictures, but look also at how they're placed on the page, okay? Don't blow them up really big where it's really blurry and it doesn't look good. Instead, I want you to look at it and remember your customers. Are they seeing themselves in your images? Are you showcasing what's possible when they come to you, right? The pictures on your website should be a very clear picture of the quality they can expect doing business with you. And again, why we're talking about this, because you're talking about attracting the right people. And you want those right people to see the images and to think, that's exactly what I want. Now, for my photographer friends that are listening, the same thing, right? You want to show images, the types of images that people are going to want from you. And it doesn't matter if you're a portrait photographer. It doesn't matter if you're selling prints. You need to show, and yes, exactly what I just see in the comments on Instagram, show what you want to grow. You need to show those things, show what you want to do more of, and show what your best fit audience is going to say, yes, that's exactly what I want. That's the vibe, right? That's the feel, that's the quality, all of those things, okay? And especially for you photographers, you can set yourself apart in that way, all right? So again, you're going to attract those right people with the images and videos on your website. Number 3, the third warning sign that I have for you is your lead magnet or your valuable freebie is on your website in a great location, or maybe even multiple locations. However, you're not getting signups. That is a definite warning sign that your website is not getting the right people. But let's talk about that. First of all, let me just say, If you have a freebie on your website, if you are intentionally building your email list with a valuable lead magnet, I'm giving you kudos, heads up. That is a huge deal because you are definitely leaps and bounds ahead of many other equestrian business owners. So first of all, that's great. That's a great first step. But let's step back and say, if people are not signing up for that, or people are signing up but they never become customers, then perhaps your content needs to be reevaluated, right? Is your freebie actually connected to the services you provide? And I know that sounds crazy, but so often I will see people have a great idea for a freebie and it's not actually really connected to what they're doing. So let me give you an example of a one-to-one coaching client that I had earlier this year, Kaylee with the Equine Studio, and she's still working on updating her website based on our work together. So you probably won't go see this freebie there yet, but I can tell you about it. All right. So she is an equine photographer. She specializes in bringing her traveling portrait studio to you in your barn. Okay. Like that's her specialty. We were able to hone in on that for her in the one-to-one coaching. So therefore, she was able to take what was a very generic lead magnet. Oh, I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but I can tell you it was very generic. And now we've created the complete guide to getting your barn ready for a studio photo shoot. It's going to be free on her website, and it's going to guide people to preparing their barn for that studio photo shoot. So why is this a good freebie for her? Again, think about it as qualifying the right people. The person that downloads this freebie is actually interested in bringing a photographer to their barn for a shoot. Okay, that is the huge qualifier that they need to step into before Kaylee even has that conversation with them, right? So once they know, okay, yeah, I've got this freebie. I love the way it's set up. I love these images that she's included. This is the style I want. Then they reach out to her. They've already been qualified. They're already interested. They know what she's doing. They are ready for the investment. Okay. So your freebie is, yes, you want to provide value, but you also want to be preparing them for that next step in their journey to working with you. Okay. So again, here's your action step. If you have a lead magnet on your website, I want you to go look at it and get yourself in the shoes of your ideal customer, that best fit person for you that you want to work with more of. And would you want that freebie? Does it make you really actually want to download that? That's what you want, right? You want them to be like, wow, I've got to have that. That looks so good. Okay. All right. So number 3 is your freebie. Now, number 4. All right. So we're talking about, again, warning signs that your website is not attracting the right people. So warning sign number 4 is people are not, we talked about this, they're not completing the inquiry, but here's why. There's not enough information on your website for them to actually make a decision. Now, you can even have a very great quality one-page website and encourage people to make a buying decision, or at least to make a next step decision. It may not be making a purchase, but it may be that next step in the journey to working with you that you're wanting them to take. But if you have a website that's too generic, is not specific enough in what you provide, in the discipline that you are geared to, the breed that you're involved with, the area that you live in. For, again, photographers, riding lesson instructors, all of those. Do not assume that when someone lands on your website, they know where you're located. Include that information on your site. Okay, so be very specific to have that information. And then also, I want you to think about showing the services that are provided. Like, do you have packages? I want you to look at how you can include that very clearly on your website. Now, it's very different if you provide prices or not, depending on what service you're providing, what you're doing. So I understand that. You can always include a starting at price, okay? So giving people an idea of what to expect, that again is going to alleviate the pain of having those tire kickers that don't want to pay your prices if you have a starting at price. But then I also want you to make sure that you're showing the value of that, right? And letting people know why you are at that price, okay? Reminder to show them what's possible, okay? What is the end goal that they're heading towards? And then I want you to think about the questions that they probably have when they land on your website and make sure that you are answering them in your content. Again, it goes back to making sure they have enough information in their hands to make a decision about if they want to submit an inquiry. It's not if they want to spend, $5,000 immediately, but just the inquiry, right? Okay, so number 4, your 4th warning sign is, do you have enough information on your website for your potential customers to even make a decision for that next step? All right, our 5th warning sign, and this one's very simple, but so often we forget to do it, and that is, do other people that are outside of your circle and maybe even outside of your industry or your niche, do they understand when they land on your website what it is that you do and who you help? Donald Miller, if you all know of him, he wrote Story Brand and some other great marketing books. He says this is the grunt test, right? And his idea is that, can a caveman look at your website and on the first page clearly understand what it is you do, who you're for? What's the problem that you solve? Who are you helping, right? And so here's what I see oftentimes. We get really cute. We get really clever with these headlines. We get really cute and clever with describing what it is we do, or we get very vague. We talked yesterday in our live training about being more specific, right? And who you serve. And the more generic and vague that you are, the less somebody knows, are you for them or not? All right. So I want you to actually do that. I want you to actually invite people to look at your website that you trust, that would give you honest opinions. Step back and be teachable, okay? Make sure that you are being teachable in this moment, because they may come back with some feedback that you're like, what? No, that's not true. But instead, be open to their ideas and be open to looking at it and discovering if that might be true, and you can create some more clarity, right? Okay, so I want you to have people looking at your website, and then as they do that, I want you to ask them a couple specific questions, okay? Ask them if there's anything on there that's confusing. Are there any words and terms that you use that turn them off because it's not in a conversational tone? It's using too much industry jargon. It's not speaking in everyday terms. Because again, just like we talked about earlier with the me versus you copy, our natural inclination is to use the terms and the words that we're used to using every day, but you're on a higher level than those potential customers most often, okay? Not always. It depends on what you're doing. Understand that. But most often, you're here, they're here, they want to get up here with you. So you need to drop down to this level a little bit, be conversational in your tone, be inviting in your text, and then let them know that you're here for them and what you're going to help them with, okay? All right, I told you I was going to bring it with lots of practical information. I do see the question about how you can watch the live training from yesterday, and I love that. Thank you. The replays are available on my Storm Lily Marketing Facebook page. I will be getting them to YouTube as well, so if you're watching this replay, you may be on YouTube also, but immediately available is on Facebook, Storm Lily Marketing, okay? And How to Market Your Horse Business. I'm putting it over there as well. So 2 Facebook pages, you can go and grab that, all right? Okay, so I've given you your 5 warning signs for your website. And we've talked about some of the specific things you can do to fix each of those problems. But I want to give you one very big action item that's really going to cover all 5 of these things. And it is for you to put a stake in the ground for who you are for. Because as you do that, I promise you, that's going to be the driver for the images that you look to find and that you put on your website. That's going to be the driver for the copy that you write. That's going to be the driver for the lead magnet that you're going to create to get that email list going. All of those things go back to, who are you for? All right. So I want you to stop trying to be for every horse person and for every horse, every breed, every discipline when it comes to your marketing. Now, you might be saying, but Denise, I see so-and-so doing that really well. I literally see their byline that it works for every horse. It works for every breed, right? And that is probably true. And honestly, I know that what you're doing, right, it may work for every horse. It may work for every person. However, I'm talking to equestrian entrepreneurs. You are not the big brand that has hundreds of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of email addresses, and hundreds of thousands of people landing on your website already. Instead, I'm talking to you, the person who is looking to build a business from the ground up. And in that case, you need to be very specific because that's going to guide all of your other decisions. It's going to guide your copy. Okay, so what you do may work for every breed and every horse, but I want you to choose an area to focus on because that's going to help you really narrow down who you're for, and it's going to help people know if you are for them or not. Okay, it's going to really create that clarity. Instead of helping all riders to be more confident, you're going to be more specific in the discipline. You're going to be more specific in what that actually looks like when they are more confident. Maybe they win ribbons. Maybe they just enjoy riding again. Think about those types of things and be specific in your copy. And when you do that, your copy, your images, all the things, when you do that, when you put a stake in the ground, then that is going to lay the foundation for the rest of your marketing. And honestly, that's why I spend the first session and oftentimes 2 sessions in Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program, really focusing on your audience and your messaging. We spend time really getting rid of confusion for yourself because often what happens is your audience is confused because you are a little bit confused and you're not ready to commit. And so we spend time in Take the Reins, you and I, really getting together and getting clear on who you are for, what it is you do, and how you're going to speak to your audience. Now, I've mentioned Take the Reins, and that is my personalized one-on-one coaching program for equestrian entrepreneurs who want to create a cohesive social media, website, and email marketing strategy in just 3 months. So in our time together, you will walk away with a detailed social media plan, when to post, what to post. You'll have a lead magnet just like Haley that's right for building your email list. We'll lay out that content together and look at the design together. We'll create your email newsletter campaigns. We're going to look at your website and audit that. But I will tell you, the foundation of all of those things is helping you to really put a stake in the ground for who you are for. So my friends, if you are that equestrian entrepreneur who has a vision for your business, you know where you want to go and you just need a leg up in your marketing to get there and to get that marketing in line with those goals, then I have designed Take the Reins specifically for you, and applications are currently open. So if you head to stormlily.com/reins, REINS, I know you all know that, then you can find more information there. You can click the link to apply. And I do want to make sure that you know there are limited spots available for this program every quarter because it is one-to-one. Because you and I are on Zoom together, I'm providing that additional one-to-one support to make sure that you are equipped and prepared and have that customized marketing plan that you can take and implement on your own. All right, friends, what did I tell you? If you had your notebook handy, I know that you have a few action steps after that training, right? I hope that you are going and looking at your website right now. And I want you to look for one thing specifically that you can do this week that will make a difference, okay? Because I know that if you are DIYing your website, an overhaul may not be in the cards right now, but you can incrementally make some changes that are really going to help you attract the right customers and specifically attract the people that you love to work with, okay? Now, as I mentioned, if you want additional clarity or if you really are ready for that website overhaul, please feel free to reach out. My joy really is helping horse business owners like you to get clarity in your marketing and your messaging so that you can have that plan that you can implement on your own that really is going to make a difference for the long-term sustainability of your horse business. So I'm absolutely here for you. Head to stormlily.com/110 for the highlights of today's episode, all of the links, including that free dream website guide that I mentioned to you at the beginning of the episode. It's completely free. It's going to give you some specific examples of other horse businesses and how they are implementing these must-haves on their own websites, and it will inspire you for how you can do that on your own. So you can grab that at stormlily.com/checklist, or just head to the show notes and you'll find a link there as well. All right, friends, if this was helpful to you, I'd be so grateful if you would share it with a friend and if you would leave a note for me on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening and let me know. Let others know especially, because when you leave your reviews, what you're doing is telling other horse business owners that this podcast is going to help them as well. All right. Thanks so much for joining me here. I'll see you again soon. Have an amazing day.